Thank you so much for attending my presentation about the misfortune of Mantine, and first let's quickly talk about its stats. For those of you who don't know, Mantine and Skarmory are counterparts. In this case, they have similar stats, but the number placement is switched around. Even so, these stat lines look a touch underwhelming without context. The ones they do share are HP and Speed at 65 and 70 respectively. This isn't horrible, especially by Gen 2 standards. In particular, they outrun a great portion of the tier, including Tyranitar, Fortress, almost every ground type, and the format warping Snorlax. Skarmory is built physically, having a monster 140 defense, respectable 80 attack, and very little specially. Thus, Mantine is the opposite. It's obvious what the idea was with these guys. The Metal Bird handles physical attackers and the Stingray takes special. But if you know about competitive Pokemon, that's not the case. Skarmory is far and away the better option. So what happened? Before we can understand why Mantine struggles in comparison, we need to take a look at what makes Skarmory amazing. For clarity, these next two slides are going to be focused on Gens 1 through 5, and you'll see why later. This thing is arguably the best physical wall of all time, in large part because of its typing. Steel Flying is a synergistic monster. A normal resistance is huge against powerful body slams, double edges, and explosions that populate these formats. Ground Immune is possibly even better, dodging the earthquake coverage that nearly every physical attacker loves to carry for steel types. Okay, sure, but it's flying too. Dealing with rocks and switching is going to be horrible, right? Nope, Steel makes sure that you only take 12%. Pre-physical special split, there wasn't a single physical type that hit it for super effective damage. Even afterwards, the best most mons could muster was a non-stab 75 base power elemental punch, not really that bad to deal with. Moves-wise, it's nearly perfect. It exerts a ton of pressure when it's on the field by setting spikes, racking up lots of damage quickly. Toxic fits into this more nickel and dime type style, making it tough to stay in safely. Whirlwind is a surefire way of getting a physical sweeper off the field, eating whatever comes your way and phasing them out, getting more hazard chip in the process. Past Gen 3, Skarm got Roost, keeping it healthy for longer V instant recovery. And it doesn't even have to run an attacking move, but Drill Peck is a strong option against powerful offensive pokes Exeggutor, Machamp, Heracross, and more. All in all, one of the best Pokemon ever made. Skarmory has been OU 7 times and UU once, and even then it was still solid in the tier. So if Skarmory is this good, Mantine has to be at least decent, right? Well, not really. Its typing, while not bad, is much worse than Skarm's, especially for its desired role. Remember, it's aiming to take on special attackers. It can do this, but has way less important resistances. Ice, Dragon, and Psychic moves in particular still hit for decent damage, but that's not the big issue. Mantine is 4 times weak to an extremely common type, Electric. This is especially rough in Gen 2, where the two best special attackers are fast electric types. They fucking shred this guy. Okay, well that's not great, but the walling prowess has to help against the rest of the tier, right? Unfortunately, that's not the case. Alakazam, Gengar, Nidoking, Blissey, and even Snorlax can run electric type coverage, hurting its consistency. Mantine just can't actually wall the stuff it wants to wall. In Gens 4 and beyond, when these options became less common, a new problem arose. Stealth Rocks. Taking 25% on Switch in sucks, and since Mantine lacks Roost, it can't heal off the damage. When it does actually get in, it struggles to do that much. The mediocre rest is oftentimes run for healing, Toxic is cool, Haze keeps some sweepers in check, and Surf is fine damage, but it just doesn't pressure nearly as much as Skarmory. Even though it could have done great, everything around it made sure that Mantine couldn't succeed even in many lower tiers. Forgot to mention this in the script, but it's also really outclassed by Blissey. Blissey's special walling typing is better, it has better supportive moves, it has better attacking moves, it's just stronger, and it's difficult to justify Mantine on teams, especially in the early gens. But this story has a happy ending. While in Gens 1 through 5, Mantine is terrible, a few developments have given it new life. With hazards being easier than ever to keep off the field via defog, which Mantine got access to itself, its typing becomes way better. Electric coverage is less common, and its water immunity via Water Absorb is great to have on teams. This all combined with a 30% burn chance Scald, which made it a serious threat. Going to a physical poke was a pain because you'd risk getting your attack slashed, but it's not like you were out damaging it with your fucking Ninetales anyway, so you might as well switch, but you don't want to deal with the risk? Gen 6 saw it get a bit better, but Gen 7 was when it finally happened. Mantine got Roost. Now, while still having to contend with rocks, it could actually keep itself somewhat healthy. As if that wasn't enough, it also got a 20-point HP buff which Skarmory didn't actually receive. That mattered a lot. Mantine was now tougher to remove on both sides. Get fucked, you dumbass metal bird. Mantine would find a spot in RU and could even be run in OU as a Slapdash Greninja and Volcarona check. Last, in Gen 8, Heavy Duty Boots was very nice at keeping it safe from hazards. It needed some help both from the metagames and Game Freak, but finally had its time in the spotlight. In conclusion, Mantine's initial design was a bit flawed. An awkward typing, half-baked move pool, and unfriendly metagame hurt it badly, but in the later gens it was finally able to see some success, which is really cool. Thank you so much for watching.